So we've had all sorts of reaction from Norfolk, UK, but what about our counterparts in Norfolk, USA? I'm pleased to say that joining me on Skype is Andre Senior, the news anchor for the local television channel in Norfolk, Virginia. Andre, thank you very much for joining us. Just give us an idea of what the last 24 hours have been like.
It has been a really tense last 24 hours. The initial polls showed that Hillary Clinton would take the national election. At least that was the general idea anyway, based on polls that were taken, projections from the last presidential election. But the race had been closing in so much in the last 2 weeks. Specifically, we started seeing a tightening of the polls when the FBI director released that there might be another investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. We saw then Donald Trump take a surge, but no one really knew whether or not it would really lead to his victory because he continued to trail behind Hillary Clinton in the past couple of months. But the race started to tighten in the last 2 weeks, so that's why we became uncertain about the outcome of the election, and it's just really been tense. We had done partnerships with a local college here to poll voters in our area to see how the election would go, and as you can understand, as you might expect, those polls were off.
So what's it been like being a journalist at that time? Incredibly chaotic, I'd imagine.
Incredibly chaotic. You have everyone come together in your newsroom just working all night, because not only do we have the national elections, but we have the local elections here. There were certain referendums that were up for a vote in, let's say, Virginia Beach and the Norfolk area about extending a light rail system in our area. So we had several mayoral candidates that were up for election as well, incumbents. So that kept us really, really busy all night. But I think a lot of people were mostly watching the presidential race. As you probably have reported in the past, that we have a pretty divided country right now between conservatives and liberals in this country. And right now there has been such divisiveness amongst each group that it has really been intense moments. I got to be honest with you, we're journalists and we're supposed to remain impartial, but some people have their beliefs that maybe influence their opinions. We try to be as impartial as we can, but even in the newsroom, things can get kind of tense, even as you try to keep your beliefs out of putting the stories together.
So if that's what the mood's like in the newsroom, what's the mood like out on the streets? What's the mood been like this morning in America?
It has been really on both sides. We have had protests in the streets, specifically in Portland, Oregon this morning. There were rioting in the streets in Portland, Oregon after the voters there learned that Trump won the election. Here in Norfolk, Virginia, we are covering a story for our newscast coming up here shortly about people vandalizing Donald Trump signs that were on the front lawns of homes in our area. So I don't want to paint a picture as though this is a widespread issue, but we do have these smaller incidents that are happening in our area and around the country as well, as people express their displeasure with what happened during the election.
So how do you see it panning out over the next few weeks? I mean, this is such a momentous event for the world, not just for America, but where do we go? The question on everyone's lips tonight is what next?
Okay, so right now we have the Trump campaign. It has been such a divisive campaign. You've probably played the sound bites there for your viewers in Norfolk, as we have heard here, and they can be very divisive comments. So right now, the Trump campaign person just came out with a statement a short time ago asking people to give Donald Trump a chance, meaning do not judge him based on what he said in the past is essentially what she's alluding to, and give him a chance to kind of govern and see where his policies will take them. Because right now, a lot of people's preconceived notion is that Donald Trump is only looking out for a certain segment of the population, such as conservatives, perhaps white conservatives, young white conservatives turned out in droves to elect Donald Trump. And there are a certain segment of the population here that are worried about their future. I can tell you this. I have been in this country for 30 years. I was originally born in Kingston, Jamaica. I never became a citizen because I never saw the need to. But after what happened today, my mother texted me and she urged me to proceed with my citizenship as early as possible, because you heard Donald Trump talk about deporting illegal immigrants and putting up a wall between the United States and Mexico. I am a permanent legal resident of the United States, but the concern that Donald Trump has an issue with illegal immigration as a whole has really permeated, even for my own mother, who knows I am a permanent legal resident of this country, but is concerned that I might still get wrapped up in whatever plans that we don't know what the exact plans are for immigrants or illegal immigrants in this country from a Trump administration. So we'll just have to wait and see.
So do we have a weight of feeling, do you think, in your local area as well? Virginia's a split vote, isn't it? But How do you think
Yes.
they feel about Trump?
Okay, so this area is extremely split. We have the Norfolk area, which voted Democratic this election. It overwhelmingly voted for Hillary Clinton. But Virginia Beach, which is the second biggest city in our viewing area here, they voted overwhelmingly Republican for Donald Trump. So you can see the divide in our area, and we have 7 cities that make up Hampton Roads, and I would say half were for the Democrats and half for the Republicans. We do have an extremely conservative population in parts of Virginia Beach and perhaps parts of the Chesapeake area, also within the 7 cities. There remains to be seen how the tensions will move forward. But I will tell you, the elections and certain referendums that happened in Virginia Beach, the Republican area that voted for Donald Trump, are now leaning toward this more conservative side of things. In fact, transportation, that light rail system that I spoke about earlier, that would have linked Norfolk, a Democratic part of the city, to Virginia Beach, a conservative area which voted for Donald Trump. Voters in that city voted down a referendum which would have extended the light rail system from Democratic Norfolk into Republican Virginia Beach. So we are seeing kind of the residual fallout from this conservative type of movement that we're seeing in this country right now.
Okay, listen, Andre, thank you so much for speaking to us. It's been a real pleasure. And can I just say, I do hope you get some sleep at some point over the next week.
Oh, I certainly do too. But you know, there's going to be a lot happening, so we want to keep abreast of it here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Cheers, Andre.